I'm Zaquan Malak, and the conversation continues. Today's conversation is 2021 will be better, right? Because everybody's thinking 2021 is going to be better days. You got Biden in. 2020 was so chaotic with the pandemic. It was crazy. But is 2021 actually going to be better for you? Because I want you to think about something related to 2020. Because actually, we had the presidential election where Donald Trump lost. But I want you to think about something. Donald Trump had 70 million people, or over 70 million people, that voted for Donald Trump. That's 70 million Americans voted and still support Donald Trump. Just let that sink in. That racist, white supremacist regime. So this is what I want you to realize, what time we're living in. And I want to bring this out. And that knowing the time, that now it is high time to wake out of sleep. For now is our salvation nearer than when we believe. And how long, ye simple ones, will ye love simplicity? The simple things in life. How long are you simple ones gonna love simplicity? And scorners delight in their scorning. And those are people who's always criticizing what we're doing, delight in their criticisms. And fools hate knowledge. So that's Proverbs 121. Fools hate knowledge. Knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. Supreme knowledge, not fake knowledge. Like how many miles is the sun from the earth? Like someone sat on the sun and measured that distance. Or that we're the Egyptians and we're supreme and understanding knowledge, wisdom, yet their whole system and government has fallen. And even modern day Egypt is one of the poorest countries in the world. Or that we were Africans selling kings and letting kings and queens go into the forest, yet they did it for hundreds of years over and over again, and no one thought to retaliate a continent with billions of dark people. So these are just some of the things you need to think about when you're thinking on who you are and where you're going. Is there change ahead for the children of the enslaved in America or the native indigenous people of North, Central, and South America in 2021? Should we celebrate a new fiscal year? Like, is everyone financially going to be set? Because that's all this is a new fiscal year. When you tell people this is not the new year, there's no new season, there's no new weather, there's no new grass, no feelings. Like in spring, they say love is in the air because you get this different feeling. There's no new leaves, no new change in clothing, no change in the beach temperature. The water's still ice cold and they still have ice forming on the ocean water. Birds aren't flying north, even though they flew south for the winter. So what is new? There's nothing new about this year. And you can't wish people Happy New Year. I'm talking about hopefully you have a prosperous New Year when people are looking how they're going to pay their rent, how they're going to pay their taxes on their house. People are going to lose their house. How they're going to pay their car note. How they're going to find a job. How they're going to do this. So wishing on some fake fantasy type mythology that was created by the people that had you enslaved doesn't make sense when you think about it. Because everything, when you think about it, is remaining the same. You have minority taxpayers and voters are still treated as second class citizens. We get pulled over for driving nice cars. And like I said, you're going to expect evictions on a high level. And what's that going to cause? A chain reaction. A chain reaction for crime increase, more murders, more suicides, more robberies, more rapes, white supremacy is increasing on a high level and being supported by all these governments and local police forces and agencies. You have an all-out assault on Native American brothers and sisters. Native American men are murdered more so than Black American men, and we're getting killed like on a regular. Nothing stopped since George Floyd. You still have our brothers and sisters, children in cages in America. And you're looking forward to 2021 because y'all are loving it. Because the ones that are comfortable with your city, your federal, your state, little jobs, your Congress position, you're making a little money, you went to school. So you have a blind eye towards the people that's really suffering out there. Therefore, things remain the same and they continuously treat our people poorly with no respect. And y'all embrace it. You'll make stupid sayings like, yeah, we've arrived. Yeah, we got him out of office. Yeah, God heard our prayers. God didn't hear your prayers praying for give us the lesser of two evil. God is not evil. Oh, let me give you this evil instead of that evil. So when you think about it, what has changed since marching all over the world in response to George Floyd? What has changed? Let's think about that. Because we march in Paris, where there was millions of people, it seemed like, or hundreds of thousands of people marching in Paris. What has changed? We even marched in a country I can't even pronounce this name. We even marched there. And what has changed? Where's the major change for our people marching all over the world? The only change that happened, you have Caucasians who are feeling better about themselves. Now they don't feel as guilty for all the stuff that they do and having their Caucasian privilege. But what has changed? In late December, you had a Caucasian woman accused falsely, as they usually do, a young 14-year-old docile boy, teen boy, black boy, of stealing her iPhone and tackled him in a high-end hotel called the Arlo Hotel in Manhattan, New York. And guess what? She was not arrested. Not only that, the hotel manager, instead of protecting the guest, which was the 14-year-old boy and his father, he was trying to defend the woman who assaulted the 14-year-old boy. Can you imagine? I mean, in every story, we could always say, can you imagine if the person was black and they did that? Because we know there's two Americas and two standards for people in America. So it doesn't matter. You even had the media. You had this guy, T.D. Holmes, interviewing the child and the parents and ask them this stupid question. Would you give her the benefit of the doubt? Give her the benefit of the doubt, tackling a boy, accusing him falsely. What's the benefit of the doubt? That doesn't even make sense. Then you had CNN take this story, ran to go interview the Caucasian woman so they could try to exonerate her and get some understanding on it. And what happened? After they interviewed her, they decided we're not going to use that anymore. They can't use that footage because it doesn't make her look good. And then come to find out she did the same thing in California and was arrested because I think that's where she lives. Then a week after she was arrested for doing something crazy, she got arrested again for drunk driving. So you're talking about a crazy Caucasian woman, I use that term loosely, jumping on a 14-year-old boy, and the media didn't take off with this and say this was a horrific crime. So we need to reject all the propaganda of the media. And the media stands for the most evil deception in America, advertising the occupation of the man when a crime is committed. Because that's what they like to do. They try to justify, oh, if we're going to come against a Caucasian or police for what this man did, for what they did, let's talk about how upstanding the Black person was in the community. So we don't feel so bad. But what difference does it make? What if he was a homeless Black man? Does it make a difference what he did when you're wrong? Or what about when you're involved with a crime against us? Now you start looking for our criminal history, seeing what we may have done wrong in our useful indiscretions or was framed with in the past by you. So all these things that happen and the police shootings of our brothers and sisters, they will continue as they did throughout 2020. And proof of that is in December last month in 2020, Casey Goodwin Jr., 23-year-old brother, was murdered by the police going into his house. They said it looked like he had a gun. He had a sandwich in his hand, going in his house with his keys. Murdered him. Yeah, they charged him with murder, but just like brother Tamir Rice, the little boy that was playing in the park 6 years ago, remember? I believe it was Detroit, Michigan. Tamir Rice playing in the park, toy gun. Little kids play cowboys and Indians, cops and robbers all the time. Two Caucasian racist soldiers pull up before they even opened the door and got out. Blam, 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 murders the little boy, Tamir Rice. What did they do? Put the case on hold. 6 years later now, a couple of days ago, they said, oh, the video was so grainy, we couldn't really see what was going on or what transpired, so they dismissed the case. That's what they do. They push it off for so long that you forget about it, they dismiss it, and there's nothing you could do about it. You forget. And that's why they march with y'all. They do all these marching because they know you will forget. You will forget. And that's why when you check out, how long have we been marching against police brutality? Think about it. For the past 70 years, we've been marching against police brutality. Look at this. This is in the 60s. Police brutality must go. We must defend ourselves against the murders of our people. 60 years ago, they have the Civil Rights Act. They have all these different things that are supposed to be protecting our people. Why are we still doing this today? Why are we still protesting when we should be on another level? Because we keep accepting crumbs from the people that's oppressing us. We keep going along just to get along. Oh, As long as we're accepted, at least we're on TV. Look at Oprah. Look at Tyler Perry. Look at Jay-Z. We have become an invisible people. We have become marginalized. We have become pushed in the corner, so insignificant. They don't even call us what we are. Technically, they try to separate us because we're all different shades of brown, but they call us black people. They call Latinos who are brown people to make that separation. But sometimes, and most times, I'll say, brown Latinos, you don't know they're Latino until they speak Spanish, but they're racist towards black people. Not all of them, because my brothers and sisters in this fight, I have Latino, West Indian. We're one nation, the nation of Israel. But you have Latinos who gravitate towards being Spanish or Latino as opposed to being, as they say, black first. Because if you're brown, you should gravitate towards the racism that's put against us and join with people who are like minded to fight white supremacy. That's why when you have these movements, like there is a Black First movement, I love the concept, but their ideology, I'm thinking they're agents because they're pushing separation from our people who look just like us, whose ancestors came off the same slave ships, where it's prophesied in the Bible that we're the same people. And they don't have any respect of persons. They don't care if you're old, you're young, you're rich, you're poor. Look what they did to R. Kelly. He wrote songs for a lot of Caucasians. They used to love him. What happened to R. Kelly? I used to show this poster. It had like 40 men on it, Caucasian men, all accused of sexual inappropriateness, rape, fondling. I mean, Joe Biden wasn't on there, but he could have been. And then all you go after is the black men who were exonerated for their crimes that they allegedly committed. Bill Cosby, R. Kelly, and y'all just go, oh, that's cool, no big deal. They shouldn't have did what they did. But y'all don't care if Caucasians never pay for their crimes. You had a sister, Dr. Susan Moore, a 52-year-old black physician, at the videotaping at the hospital was allowing her to die, not giving her medication, not treating her right because she's a black woman. When you have a woman like that in a hospital dying from COVID-19, where are the people's outrage? Where's everyone getting upset and saying, yo, this is ridiculous? Past and present, these are the things that's going on in the hospitals. You're sending people home with COVID-19 if they have brown skin, like this sister. I mean, this sister wasn't sent home, but she was in a hospital and you didn't want to treat her. You send a lot of our people home and they're dying at home because they don't have proper medical care. And it's not like the hospitals are that much overcrowded where you don't have space for them. You just don't want to treat them. And when they're there, you don't want to give them the proper medication, the proper resources so they can get better because it's not worth it to you. And that's how you deal with our elderly population. Yet you say this is America, the land of the free, the home of the brave, and the land of all equal and opposite. It's BS. Your words mean nothing now. Past and present, unemployment's like off the chain. And it's not just because of COVID-19. It was like that before. Did COVID-19 and the coronavirus accelerate that? Of course it did. But when you think about it, how long have we been protesting against the jobless rate in America? Think about it. Once again, since the 60s, we've been protesting unfair labor wages, no jobs, no justice, no peace. And you know what? What do? We just accept it and keep moving on. People still protesting jobs, jobs, jobs. They want hazard pay. We were forced to work during the pandemic, getting sick and dying in little bodegas and stores, fast food restaurants, getting minimum wage to put our lives on the line. City workers, but they don't want to give us hazard pay, but they'll give firefighters and the police hazard pay because the majority of them are Caucasian. So all we do is continuously protest, protest, protest. And what happens? Protest for jobs. And are we getting jobs? No, we are not. The same thing still exists in society. And America's continuously crumbling and falling down. And like I reported earlier, and because people aren't getting jobs, what's going to happen? People are going to be evicted out of their homes. It's even estimated anybody making less than $25,000, 2 million people may be thrown out of their homes and evicted. Anybody making less than $35,000, over 1 million people will be evicted in the United States. And this is predicted by the US Census Bureau in November 25th through December 7th, that within the next 2 months, with this January and February, all these things will happen to people in America. Why is that? Because America's corrupt. When they had the first stimulus package, they gave out $1,200 to, I don't know who they gave it to, I don't know the breakdown, to individuals that they felt were worthy of it. Yet, when you think about it, that money was paying maybe people's first month rent or three-fourths of their rent in certain cities. And billion dollar corporations were making billions. And now they're giving you this $600, and it may go up to 2,000. But what is that? That will pay your bills for maybe 2 months. And then what are you going to do? You'll still be in the same boat. Yet they bail out Wall Street, bail out Amazon, bail out Wells Fargo, bail out all these places that don't need to be bailed out, that are making billions of dollars anyway. They have clauses in there with all the Democrats and Republicans in Congress and the Senate. They get a little payout off of that. But you believe what they say when they're talking about, oh, this is for the people, we care, we negotiated, this is what we came up with. They could afford with $1 trillion to give every family $50,000. And whatever you do with that, if you blow it and you're still homeless, that's on you. But if you put it to good use and make it last and benefit you for the next 10 years, then you benefited from getting that money. They can do that to the American people. They can give you free health care. You shouldn't have all these people on the food lines. That is ridiculous. That is horrible. This is America, where you have people lined up in this parking lot waiting for food. This is a horrible thing. And this is not a third world country. Look at this line of people lined up for food. This is outrageous. Cars waiting for the food bank in America. This is 2021. Where you're talking about Happy New Year. But people are starving still. People are going to be evicted. People are robbing. People are destitute because this government is so wicked and evil. And that's what you have to realize. Realize who you're dealing with and stop looking for some Caucasian man to be your savior or even some brown skinned man like Barack Obama who said, oh, Joe Biden, he won't be able to do much, just like I wasn't. They're already preparing you that they're not going to do much for you or anything at all because it's not in their spirit to help you out. Look at in New York City alone. They had a $3.2 billion budget in March 2020 for the children in New York City to get tablets so they could work remotely. But do you know what they did? They had 84,000 devices for 200,000 students. And they're wondering why aren't they learning? Why is the educational system failing? So they decide calling cases against them. Oh, that's neglect. Your child isn't learning. But what are you doing? What are you doing to help the children in the city? When you check out how the people in the city live, they're in overcrowded classes. If you notice in this picture, they don't have any resources. But when you look in the suburban schools, not only do they have tablets, they have Macs full screen on their desk, maybe 8 people in the class. And this is why they excel more than we do. But what do? We want to keep voting since 1965, the Voting Right Act, talking about, yeah, black votes matter. They matter to do what? What are they doing? This whole system is set up to destroy us on a high level, even with food. In a hood, you got grocery stores, everything is high fructose corn syrup, sugary drinks, high fat, spoiled meat, no fresh vegetables and fruits. Many restaurants are allowed to set up in our neighborhoods. And you know what? If you ever examine it, they don't eat the food that they sell us, but they're pouring monosodium glutamate, salt, and like I said, sugar, and all these things you're addicted to because they're putting it in abundance in your food and you're thinking the food tastes so good. It's not that the food tastes so good, you're addicted. And they treat you bad because you're like junkies. Even if we boycott a store for bad treatment, you'll still run up in the store talking about, oh, but the food is good. We got to do it. We got to eat it. I'm not going to stop. Just like Paula Dean, she hired some black people to serve her at a dinner party with her Caucasian rich friends, had them dress like slaves and speak like slaves so they could reenact slavery. And she used the N word so many times. What did you do? You had black people supporting her store talking about, oh, the food is so good. I got to get some food. I loves to eat. So this is the problem. When you have people who want to have a blind eye to what's really going on in society, that's what happens to our people. They're able to crush us on a high level. So when you had the 2020 election, all it did was raise your emotions, cause you to think, things are looking up for us, things are going to get better for us. You got demon Donald Trump. Before he left, he pardoned rapists, thieves, and murderers, and had no compassion for any of the brothers that are in prison because of Joe Biden and the Clintons with the three strikes you're outlaw. serving time because they might have been selling marijuana in the hood. Something that is legal in New Jersey, Colorado, and so many states, and eventually in every state. Something that they're making billions off, the government taxing marijuana, but you can't let these brothers go or sisters that was selling marijuana doing 10, 15, and 20 years. You decide to let off all your rapists and thieving buddies because they support you. We should follow behind, I believe it's the governor of Detroit, where he's adopting that. He's pardoning people in his state who are convicted for selling marijuana because he realizes, wait a minute, people are smoking recreational marijuana, medical marijuana. And I don't condone smoking marijuana because if fire doesn't kill you, the smoke will kill you. And the Most High don't want you to defile your temple. But if you can drink hemp or marijuana in a tea, even if you ate an edible in moderation, because many people have eaten a whole marijuana cookie and lost their mind because they didn't realize it's so potent like that. You just take a little bit, or just take the natural oils from the marijuana plant where you're taking out the THC and you're just using a cannabis oil where you're not getting a high, but it's just for medicinal purposes. Just for the record, I don't do any of that, but I can understand it, and the Most High is not against you if you use it in that way, form, or fashion. So, what are you celebrating? So, when you're celebrating, what are you celebrating for? You're having big celebrations because Biden was selected to be the president. And why was he selected? Because all the presidents are selected. There's too much overwhelming evidence. And when I show certain people evidence, you know what I hear? I hear people talking about, oh, that's Photoshop. I'm like, are you out of your mind? How is that Photoshop? You have reputable corporations like CNN, New York Times, putting out this information. You have people that can research it, like myself, to make sure it's true. And you have dummies, raccoon behavior, having people that keep our people down, talking about when you show them concrete evidence, oh, that's Photoshop. That's not true. And you do all these things, and you're talking about, we're moving on up. Oh, we have a black woman in there. Oh, we got to get rid of the evil for the less of the evil. But what did the Most High say? Abstain from all appearance of evil. Not do one evil for the next evil. Abstain, that means stay away from all appearance of any evil. But you find it difficult to do so because you're blinded by small gifts in the form of your stimulus check. You get your little taxes back. You get your little Thanksgiving and Christmas turkey, and you save up for that. Or the ones that don't go to the truck when a basketball or football player is giving it out, or a rapper doing his noble deed for once a year. After your leftovers are gone after the week, what do you do then? You think the government loves you because you're getting a check, especially when they increase it to $2,000 and six. All that's a game. And you know what that shows? The Most High was correct in this statement right here. Surely oppression makes a wise man mad. And that's why I get mad at seeing the oppression of my people. It doesn't matter how I'm living in the earth, how my brothers and sisters are living in this earth. And a gift destroyeth the heart. A gift makes your mind clouded where you can't even think anymore. Now that you get a little gift, you can't think. You're on some other level. So what's happening now? Now you have MD 2020. They're trying to push that our people are the most vulnerable. So we need to take MD 2020. Now, why are we the most vulnerable from the pandemic? Let's examine that too. Because from what I saw and what I see from this picture, I'm going to blow it up a little bit. This is a map of where the coronavirus was hit most. Here's Europe over here, right? In Europe, you have France, England, Belgium, Italy. That's where the coronavirus, Spain, the coronavirus hit them hard. 90% Caucasians were hit hard. You have here in North America, look at America. That's a disgrace. Richest country in the world. But there was a time where nobody black was getting the coronavirus in America. But all of a sudden, when they start putting it in our neighborhoods, or did I say put, when it start coming in our neighborhoods, then all of a sudden, our people start getting the coronavirus and COVID-19. So I'm like, wait a minute. How are we the culprits or more susceptible to getting COVID-19? That doesn't make sense to me. But that's what y'all say. And since the beginning of time, where have you shown that the government, that America, that the majority of Caucasians love us so much that you want to do something great for us? But you are saying that you care about my people so much that you want to offer them first in line to get this vaccine, MD 2020. And y'all remember, some of y'all anyway, remember MD 2020. So you want to push that our people line up in droves to get more poison from you than what you've done to us over the years. Some people only know about the Tuskegee experiment. Some people only know about the sterilization of our women. Some people only know when they tested all the AIDS vaccine on our people. Some people only know where they go to Africa and they test the polio vaccine on Africans because nobody cares about Africans. They just talk about them. Nobody really cares. Africans kill Africans, whatever. Right? So nobody remembers that you're always testing drugs on brown people. And as I showed you in the map, how many people in Africa have COVID-19? Look at Africa. But yet, you want to go over there and test the drug there. Why not test it in Europe? Why not test it here on your people? Your people go first. Don Jr., Giuliani, y'all go first, and then the rest of the people can go. Because that's how it should go. That's the only fair thing to do. Am I right? That would be the fair thing to do. But no, you want to use us as the test dummies. So if you want to celebrate something, we should only celebrate if we were guaranteed reparations and an emergency bill passed in the House of Senate and the House of Congress unanimously, immediately. Or celebrate when they give the schools in the inner cities in America the same resources the public schools have in the suburbs. That's when you could celebrate and say, Happy New Year, even though the New Year is on March 12th at sundown. Celebrate when we allow to teach our history in our school and hire 75% straight black men to teach our children. Celebrate when all our brothers and sisters who were locked up in the 80s and 90s and 2000s under the three strikes you're outlaw, give them a pardon. Follow the blueprint of the governor of Illinois and celebrate when the police departments throughout the country recruit black and Latino men to police their own neighborhoods. Like you have Asians in Asian neighborhoods, you have Italians in Italian neighborhoods, and you have Caucasians in Caucasian neighborhoods. Why we can't have blacks and Latinos in our neighborhoods? So celebrate when they recreate educational, vocational schools and put home economics, cooking, carpentry, steel work, architectural skills, interior design, home building, and metal shops and welding and mechanics, auto mechanics, refrigeration, gardening and landscaping from the 8th grade all the way through high school, like it was in the past. So we could develop a skill and a trade, because the way you're teaching us in these elementary and junior high school, middle school, and high school educational system is set up to fail. At the same time, celebrate when the government places math labs and computer labs in the inner city, reading labs in our neighborhoods, instead of celebrating when the government continues to block every movement to elevate our people on a high level. Stop people like me from teaching you and don't want to elevate our people to know who they are and where they came from. And it's because most people are crowd followers. Just like how you rally behind Joe Biden. You rally behind him like he's going to be the Caucasian savior. Because in your mind, Santa Claus is your children's savior. And then you have Christ. It was difficult for me to say that. You have Christ as a Caucasian man. So when you have that image in your head, it's hard for you to say, hey, maybe Biden is our savior. But I'm going to let you listen to something that Biden said when he was meeting with some civil rights leaders for a call to action. Because Biden is always making a gaffe and a slip of the tongue. So I want y'all to check this out and hear this clearly and go research it for yourself, because as the people who have their head so far up an area on his body that you can't see his head anymore, they're not going to believe this is true. Just like when you show them stuff in the Bible, like Matthew 15:24, where Christ said, I am not sent but only to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. They're like, I'm not going to see that. These are those people. Forget those people. I want you to check it out and you tell me what this is. Listen to this. So now Biden said this country is doomed. It's doomed. And he said, not just because of African Americans. So he's telling you that this country is doomed because of African Americans, but not just because of us, but he's saying because of something else. I'm going to let y'all hear it again. So now he's saying it's not just doomed because of African Americans. He's saying the country is doomed because it's going to be minority white. So the white supremacy doctrine cannot be pushed. This is Joe Biden speaking to a panel on, I don't know, the equivalent of a Zoom call with Kamala Harris sitting next to him, talking about the country's going to be doomed because it's going to be minority white. And it's not just our fault, but it's because, I mean, it's not because of that, but it's just because our fault. I couldn't even get it out, but I want you to hear it again in entirety. Listen to this. So he's saying because there's going to be a minority whites, this country is doomed. And it's not just because it's our fault. There's other reasons because a lot of Hispanics are multiplying in this country. So Joe Biden speaks his mind many times and people just overlook it. But look at his deeds and actions. Check out his old videos when he was in Congress, how he said he doesn't want our children next to his children. So these are the things that you have to examine. This is your president that you chose, President elect Biden, but he's a racist. And he's proven that over and over and over again. And now you have the coronaviruses are climbing up towards 400,000 deaths in 2021 in America alone. As you saw on the map, it is so vicious and outrageous. And what are you doing? Are you still non believers that the coronavirus is real, even though it's taken on a mind of its own and splitting up into different strains? The surge in December in California was worse than what was in New York. But when people, y'all are the type of people, when it's not close to you, when you're not seeing somebody next to you die, you have a blind eye to it. When you're not being oppressed, when you're able to have a job or a plantation job, you get a little car, you might be able to get a little house. You don't see that the next man is being oppressed. I even heard, and I just have to bring up her nationality, a Dominican sister had said, oh, the people that's getting killed, they're not really working, they're not really doing much. And I had to bring up, I said, are you kidding me? That doesn't make a difference, one. And two, that's not true. Philando Castillo, Sandra Bland, both John, and there's many more that were working, even making lucrative salaries in America, and it's still murdered and disrespected. But that's the propaganda machine, the most evil deception in America, pushing that narrative. So now they're pushing like five different companies. Everybody's jumping on the vaccine bandwagon. Everybody wants to come up with giving you a vaccine. They even postponed the second shot because it was supposed to be a two-phase shot. And it sounds so familiar. When Barack Obama was president, They had a two-phase shot that he was trying to push, and he was talking about, oh, the vaccine, we're not going to have enough for it for the N1, H1N1 virus. Y'all remember that? The H1N1 virus, they were building up facilities like old warehouses and old Walmart stores so they could house the people and fence them in case people got crazy racing for the vaccine, which was a lie. That was for the people that didn't want to take the vaccine. Because at that time, Barack Obama was talking about making it mandatory for everyone to take the H1N1 vaccine. Anybody that has been following politics, research it, Google it, Yahoo it, Bing it, MSN it, look it up. These are cold-hearted facts that was happening to our people in America. But that didn't come to fruition. That didn't take off because they probably said, nah, there'll be such an uproar if they try to force people with a black president. So now think about what's happening now. They're not even clear on how to give it, who should take it. And if I'm not seeing you going into the local Walgreens or the local CVS or any drugstore in the hood, and that shipment that's in those local drugstores that's for the people in the hood, and I see the politicians, the Trump family, Biden's family, Kamala's family going into those neighborhoods and saying, hey, let me get the vaccine. Let me get the shot here. And then y'all advertise it, on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Then you could do those videos because then people may believe you. And just have random nurses that work in a local clinic administer the drug to you, not your buddies who lie like you had when Donald Trump had the coronavirus, allegedly. What did he do? He had his cronies out there, a whole panel of doctors and formation, social distancing, lying to America. Dr. Fauci, a liar, allowed Donald Trump to lie and didn't say anything. The other demon woman liar when he's talking about taking bleach. But if you really want to have a true vaccine for people and to help people that have this virus, why don't you give them what you gave Don Jr., that you gave to Chris Christie, that you gave to Giuliani? And if Donald Trump and his woman and his child had it, the same drug that you gave to them where they were able to come out the hospital in 2 days, give the people that drug. Why are you keeping that drug a secret? Because it's only for the rich? And Bill Gates, I didn't see you take yours. You're always pushing some vaccine. How come you didn't go and take yours, Bill? You and your wife. So when all these things happen, and when you start doing these things on that level, then you should come to my people and try to tell them to come to the table. I've never seen so many black doctors on TV in my life until you're encouraging us. It's safe. Look, I'm taking it. Look, I invented it. I was in the lab when they created it. I know it's good for you. And then you'll come up with these lines trying to make people take MD 2020, where you say, hey, I know you don't trust the government. They've been evil to you for the past hundreds of years. And when you think about it, since 333 BC, this same evil regime has been reigning over us and treating us evil. So you come to us saying, I know this has been happening to you for so many years, but trust us this time. Really? I'm not telling people what to do. I'm not dictating to people how they should live their life. All I'm doing is presenting facts, evidence, and you make your own decision. Because that's what I do. I make my own decision, but I'm not going to trust someone that's proven to me that they have been against me from the beginning of time, that have never had my best interest at heart. My ancestors were treated horrible. My grandfather served in the army, came back and was still treated where he couldn't drink in the water fountains that he was when he was thirsty. Overseas, they even set up their racism overseas. They even talk about there's documents to show Adolf Hitler asked America to show some of the racist tactics that they use in America against us so he could adopt them over there against the people that he punished over there. So these are just some things I just want y'all to think about. And hopefully our people start waking up to the truth of who they are, doing a little more research, seeking out certain things, and opening up your mind. I want you to start looking out, pay attention, look out for more. Conversation continues. We're going to have brothers and sisters calling in, participating in the conversation. And I'm getting back in there now. Had a lot of obstacles, a lot of things going on in life. And now we're back. And we're going to keep you informed as things escalate. So expect things to escalate. Embrace yourself on a high level in 2021 and beyond if we're able to be alive and go further than that point. So I'm going to say the conversation continues. I'm Zaquan Malak, and stay tuned for more.